Welcome to another video. You've probably observed that millionaires are ardent investors, but they're also wise when it comes to choosing which businesses to invest in. They don't just take risks without carefully looking into a business venture. In this video, I'll talk about 7 things most conservative millionaires don't invest in so that you too can make great investing decisions like a millionaire. Who knows, maybe you too can be one of the richest investors someday. One of the secrets to success is following the footsteps of those who have succeeded before you. They already know the methods that work for investing. No wonder thousands of people like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger spend countless hours studying investment strategies. Did you know that even these billionaires also took their investing strategies from those who came before them? Take Warren Buffett, for example. He learned investing strategy from his teacher and the author of the book The Intelligent Investor, Benjamin Graham. He was known for being diligent, also surgical in his financial evaluation of companies. The best thing about his investing methods is its simple, effective logic that led to success. They say that investing is an intricate art, and knowing what investments to avoid is equally important to knowing which you should invest in. Some people think that when you invest, you always win. The sad truth is, there are instances where you can lose if you are not a careful investor. You most definitely want to avoid losing your hard-earned money. So which investments in particular do billionaires avoid? I know you're excited, but before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more smart money concepts. Investment number 1. Bonds. There are actually many millionaires who hold some bonds in their portfolios, but this type of investment should be avoided when millionaires are trying to maximize their wealth. One problem with bonds is that their returns are generally much lower than what you could get when you invest in stocks. To tell the truth, bonds can't even keep pace with inflation, earning only 3% on average yearly. To be more specific, in the past 3 years in the United States, the average inflation rate has been more than 2% annually, which means with a $50,000 investment, you would be ahead by 1% or $500 as a net return. So with low return on investment, why do some people still invest in bonds? Well, that's because bonds are generally less risky compared to stocks. They can even be liquidated easily when you need your cash. Bonds also pay interest, so they are income-generating assets. However, because of the low return on investment, bonds are more of a wealth reservation tool than a wealth generation tool. For that reason, millionaires tend to avoid putting huge amounts of money into this type of investment. And lastly, as the old school saying goes, when bonds go up, stocks are down. Investment number 2. Penny stocks. Are you familiar with penny stocks? Well, these are any stock that trades on the stock exchange for less than $5 per share. Seems silly to call them penny stocks, doesn't it? But that's what they're called in the industry. Millionaires avoid them for these main reasons. Number 1. Security and Exchange Commission, commonly referred to as SEC, don't review companies that trade low-value shares. They are also not required to present their annual reports. Basically, this means that there is no oversight into the validity of the financial information these companies are reporting, which makes them very volatile investments. Number 2, lack of access to reliable financial information makes it extremely difficult for investors to figure out the exact value of their holdings, which is an important factor for millionaires when making investing decisions. It's true that these types of stocks can possibly make exponential gains and high returns for investors who are willing to take risks in these unproven companies, but millionaires are also aware that penny stocks have great chances of falling. Number 3, low levels of liquidity. Due to the fact that there are only a few people who invest in these types of shares, it would be difficult to find a buyer for a stock you own. Number 4, penny stocks are bought and sold less often, which also affects their price, which is another disadvantage of penny stocks. Number 5, holding investments that are volatile in price makes it challenging to measure the accurate value of your holdings. This can be very stressful because your money can fluctuate extremely as time goes by. These are the main reasons why millionaires avoid investing in penny stocks. Investment number 3, digital currencies. Bitcoin and other popular cryptocurrencies have been the talk of the town for the last few years. But did you know that millionaires avoid these type of investments? It is true that there were people who made millions investing in cryptocurrencies, but these people are few and far between. So what's wrong with cryptocurrencies? Digital currencies aren't government regulated, which means there is no oversight into how the companies behind them are operating. This can be frightening if you were investing huge amounts of money into them. Another problem is that they have no intrinsic value. Their price is totally uncertain, which makes them similar to penny stocks. The price can increase dramatically when there is hype around them, and prices plummet when excitement goes down. Take Bitcoin, for example. In December 2017, one Bitcoin was worth a whopping $17,000 due to the attention it received at the time. Then, as the attention cooled off, the price began to drop to $3,000. The investors were heartbroken to see that their precious Bitcoin had dropped drastically in just 1 year. Lastly, digital currencies are prone to hacking and theft. Let's talk about Bitfinex, a Bitcoin exchange company. In 2016, the platform was hacked, resulting in depositors losing more than $70 million. Unfortunately, this circumstance happens frequently. A study in the U.S. Department of Homeland Security shows approximately 1/3 of all Bitcoin exchanges have been hacked at one time or another. With those reasons, plus the fact that cryptocurrencies don't produce income like investment properties or dividend shares, no wonder why millionaires rarely invest in digital currencies. Did you also think cryptocurrencies can actually make you rich without taking on severe risk and volatility? Well, good thing you found Smart Money Concepts. So hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Investment number 4, certificates of deposit. What are the certificates of deposit, or CDs? Well, certificates of deposit is a product offered by banks and credit unions that offers an interest rate premium in exchange for the customer agreeing to deposit a fixed amount of money that the depositor can't withdraw for a certain period of time. It's like you're giving up your access to your money in exchange for interest income. Like bonds, CDs don't offer a notable amount of returns, which means your investment won't be able to keep up with inflation. As a matter of fact, in September 2019, CDs only offered 2.25% annual interest. One advantage of certificates of deposit, though, is that it has shorter terms compared to bonds. So that means you can get a similar return for a shorter period of time, which equates to less risk. Then why do millionaires avoid CDs? It's because they expect higher returns to increase their wealth faster. And if there's one thing that millionaires hate, it's not having access to their own money when the next great investment comes along. Investment number 5, collectibles. What do collectibles include? They are art, antiques, stamps, classic cars, wine, and comic books. Did you know that they are big businesses? Deloitte reported that the market for collectibles was already $363 billion in 2012, and it was expected to grow exponentially over time. Despite the fact that collectibles are expected to grow, many, not all millionaires still keep away from investing in them. But why? Let me share with you a few reasons. Number 1, collectibles are only worth what someone else is willing to pay for them, which means there is no real defined price for these assets. It's similar to cryptocurrencies in the sense that the asset's value is based on how much people perceive it to be. It also doesn't have a real monetary value associated with it. So even if a pleasant painting is high priced for you, it won't cost anything unless someone is willing to pay your price. Also, collectibles are not well known to the public, which makes it more difficult to create the valuation process. Number 2, another reason is that collectibles are not income generating. It is true that a nice painting is pleasant to the eye, but it won't give you income on a monthly basis. Lastly, collectibles are illiquid. What does that mean? Well, like finding a marriage partner, it takes time to find the right person who's willing to spend thousands of dollars on an art collection or vintage car. So even though it seems fun to collect items, it's not the best way to get returns on investments. Investors that do collect classic cars, most notably Jay Leno, whose car and motorbike collection is worth a whopping $100 million in 2022, is collecting them for fun, without ever wanting to sell them. Similarly, Jerry Seinfeld's car collection was worth about $150 million in 2019. Notably, Jerry and Jay are friends in real life and share their love of collecting, but they have something else in common. They don't need the money. Investment number 6, precious metals. What precious metals are we referring to, you might ask? Gold. People think that gold and other precious metals can save them from economic downturns. It's because they tend to have an inverse relationship with the stock market. So when the prices of stocks and bonds decline, gold and other precious metals increase in value. When stocks and bonds are increasing, precious metals value decreases. You might think that it's wise to have investments that will offset any losses that might occur. However, the prices of precious metals don't typically rise enough to make up for the losses that you would experience in an economic decline. Like most of the other investments we've talked about in this video, precious metals are also illiquid. So if you're in need of cash, selling these items might take longer than expected. You might end up borrowing cash instead. Take it from the investment king Warren Buffett. He said that gold is a terrible investment. He believes that stocks are a much better investment because they have better returns compared to precious metals. Let me help you understand that by giving you an example. If you invested $10,000 in gold in 1942, your gold now is worth $400,000. Not bad, huh? But the same amount of money invested in blue chip stocks would now be worth a whopping $51 million. Now, do you see why millionaires don't invest in precious metals? Investment number 7. Companies you don't understand. At this point, it seems that you see stocks as the best investment. Let me warn you, not all stocks are good investments. There are many companies that trade on the stock market that are so complex, which makes it difficult for the investors to understand what business the company is actually in. Experienced investors like Warren Buffett won't invest in companies that are very complex. Buffett pointed out the importance of investing only in companies you understand, and he practices this himself. He restricts his investments to those that fall in his circle of competence. Buffett makes it clear that you shouldn't invest in companies you don't understand because you won't be able to project its performance accurately. For example, in the early 2000s during the tech bubble burst, many investors suffered. Fortunately, since Buffett was not invested in dot-com stocks, he wasn't greatly affected. In a nutshell, investing in stocks is an effective way to increase your wealth only if you totally understand the business of the companies you invest in. To wrap it up, let me enumerate the investments you should consider avoiding. They are bonds, penny stocks, digital currencies, certificates of deposit, collectibles, precious metals, and finally, companies you don't understand. Well, that's it for another thought-provoking video from Smart Money Concepts. Thanks again for watching. Click the like and subscribe buttons now and hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss our next video.